Welcome to a special edition of Funniest Thing.
Yes.
Where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Thank heavens it does.
I'm Darrell.
I'm Ed.
And we're broadcasting live from CHOBO Studios in
beautiful downtown Van Nuys.
Yes, there's always a surprise in Van Nuys.
That's right. That's right. There's a surprise on every corner.
All right. So, Ed, what's today's show?
Oh, you mentioned it's a special presentation. Today's show is called The Prospering Power of Imagination with Nancy and Cathy Norman. It's the first time we have ever had two guests in studio with us. Now we're in a whole different part of CHOBO Studios. It's amazing. So the show, we all have the God-given gift of imagination. When we combine it with love and faith, it becomes a superpower that transforms the seemingly impossible into the possible. Simply put, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. We have to think anyway, so why not think big? On this episode, Darrell and Ed encourage each other and listeners to imagine the best and forget the rest. Ah, what a relief, man. And today, the Dynamic Duo of Divinity, Nancy and Cathy Norman, both amazing Unity ministers, actually just ministers of truth, in every possible way, inspire us to joyfully expect even better things ahead with today's reading, which is imagination.
Ah.
And we have so much good stuff to get to today. Cathy and Nancy, how you doing?
We're doing good. Good. Happy to be here.
My mind is blown
It's a
to be
joy.
seeing you in person.
It's wonderful to see
It's
you
incredible.
in person.
It's incredible. I'll take my sunglasses off now, put on some reading glasses,
and
get on with the show.
Yes, get on with the show. And then I have to share something about our 3 breaths.
You want to tell people how to become a member of the Funniest Thing Club?
Oh, yes. You might already be a member.
Yes.
I bet our guests are members and they didn't even know it until now.
That's right.
And they've been living as members of the Funniest Thing
Yes.
Club.
Yes.
Okay. In case you're wondering, we're a group of truth enthusiasts who live each day as ambassadors of God's love. As we consciously radiate love, we perform everyday miracles and experience better than expected outcomes.
Yes.
If you're living this way or strive to, then you may consider yourself a member. We motivate one another by simply sharing how miracles occurred naturally in our circumstances as a result of living lovingly and expectantly.
Oh my God, it's so true. We're so happy you're with us today. We want to thank the people out there who have been contributing through Patreon. Man, we attend Nancy Norman's Thursday Infinite Prosperity class. We recommend that you do the same. What's the name of your website where they can find that, Nancy?
UnityJoyOfLife.
Yes.
.org.
UnityJoyOfLife.org. Every Thursday, 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which for us it's 4 p.m. on the West Coast, and we jump on the Zoom, and it just reminds us that life is about circulation. It has to flow. We have to use our imagination, which is what we're going to talk about, to really open up to what God is already whispering in our ear. We appreciate you letting Funniest Thing be a part of that through contributing to the Patreon. Like I said last week, we're now covering the cost of the studio. We're aiming to cover the cost of Jeff Comfort as well, who handles the audio part. Man, we love Jeff Comfort. He's been with us since the very beginning. He's the one who actually built Unity Online Radio.
Yes.
By the way. But anyway, to all of you who are contributing already, thank you. If you're not contributing yet and you love the show, I'm telling you, investing, circulating money into the things that inspire you, inspire me, it's changed my life.
Yeah.
Because it's divine. It's principle. It's principle to give, circulate energy. When I'm receiving energy from things, it just feels so good. And like Darrell always says, I've never had to worry about money since I've started living this way. In fact, I get excited about money. I get excited about the way people's faces light up when I add a little extra to the tip. When I tithe, it's just nature. It feels natural and healthy.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so patreon.com/funniest thing. There's easy buttons. You can contribute however much you want to contribute each month, but it really is helpful to us, and I think you'll find that it is helpful to you also. So what do you want to do here, Darrell? We got a bunch of mail. Should we get straight into the mail? You want to get straight into the show?
Well, if you are interested in mailing us something, you could send it to Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232.
Yes.
We do love receiving your letters. We get them. We received...
Yeah, let's get into this.
We received an amazing book.
Yes.
And we have it right here. We're actually going to read something from it. And
this thing went AWOL for a while.
Yes.
Be Ye Prospered by Ruthanna Schenk.
And we received notice that this book came to us probably almost a month earlier. But the people at the post office claimed they couldn't find it. They would go try to look for it, and then we just said, all right, we're just going to turn that over.
That's right.
And a month later, it appears.
Yes.
So whoever needed to read it at the post office must have got what they needed, because we just received it.
What's so cool, too, if you're not on YouTube yet, go to YouTube, go to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, subscribe and like the videos. Then you can see what we're up to. You can see the mail. You can see the art that everyone sends us. You can see our beautiful guests. Because this is I think someone glued this image of Mary and Jesus into the cover themselves. Mm-hmm. They actually wrote with a pencil their name, Virginia, maybe Shraver or something. I'm not sure.
No, what's the author's name?
Grover. It's not the
is
the
that
author.
Her?
No, it's someone like Virginia Grover. But it says 1928 they wrote this. So... Anyway, so I opened it up today, and I found something. Let's see if I can find it again, man, because I just closed it when I went to the cover. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it actually goes perfect with the show. See, this was sent to us by Joan Rose, who said she loves the way that Miss Schenk lays the principles out in a very simple way, like Catherine Ponder or Florence Scoble-Shinn, who we all love. And so she just thought we had to have our copy of this.
Yeah.
So I opened up to a chapter called Force That Unites Substance. It's on page 23, and it says, we have stated before that the nucleus, the attracting center, contains or really is the embryonic form, the idea already completed in pattern. This should not be difficult for you to understand, since you know that the seed of a tree contains the potential but undeveloped tree. And a speck in the egg yolk contains the perfect pattern of the chick. Do you not see that this was what Jesus Christ meant when he said, what things soever ye desire, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. It means that no longer do you turn your idea into thought energy, then it becomes a nucleus of substance. It means that no sooner do you turn your idea into thought energy, than it becomes a nucleus of substance, which contains in itself the necessary attraction for completing the material form of your expressed idea. Already you have your desire, completed and patterned, in the nucleus. Wow. Nice. What do you think of that? I see you just shaking your head about that one.
Absolutely. Do you know, it's interesting because I just read something from Emma Curtis Hopkins.
Yes.
That said the plant is already there when you plant the seed. It's already there, and it's through the process of imagination.
Right.
Wow, that is fabulous.
Right.
Thank you.
You know, I appreciate you adding that. It's amazing to be in a room with you and Cathy and Darrell. These three really do stay true to these principles. That's, for me, with regards to any teacher, it's about how true does one stay to the principle. Because I had this thought yesterday because I was having trouble being in school, because the thought patterns over there can be kind of less than principle driven, right? Less than life affirming, right? And I'm like in the process of blessing the hell out of that place, moving out of that place, getting the hell out of that place. And it just occurred to me how our thought patterns, what we think, that's not personal. Because one group of people could be thinking all hateful thoughts. If you just switched all those thoughts to joy and enthusiasm, immediately it would be a life-affirming
They'd be different
gathering.
people.
Something about that simple idea in my brain really helped me to see how this stuff works.
Yeah. Well, in fact, by you holding that higher thought, you're bringing up the vibration of that total area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we heard today, Cathy, of the bats.
Oh, right. We were listening to this podcast, and there was an example of bats. They're blind.
Okay.
So they only go by vibration. That's how
Yes.
they go.
Yeah.
And it's the same with all of us. Basically, we're on planet Earth. We're
Yes.
kind of blind in a way, but we gravitate towards vibration. Like, this is your vibe attracts your tribe, if you will.
Right.
And so, that's why we're together.
Yes.
We've attracted each other by resonance, if you will.
Yeah.
So just you having that thought
Right.
also means that vibration, that resonance, it will seep into these, the rest of the group.
Right.
But it'll also pull you towards a more congruent environment as
Right.
well.
That vibe that
Totally.
resonates with
Yeah,
that vibration
because
within me.
I've made the mistake with some places, and we were talking about this yesterday. There's some places where the overall consciousness is not my cup of tea, but they don't want the group there has no interest. They're not interested. This is what I say. They may need this, like we all do, but they don't want it at this point in time.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if you bring anything like this up, even if you're just being kind without saying, I'm not saying we're proselytizing, but we're just being your normal joyful self.
Right, because when you live this way, you just naturally want to share it with the people around.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
that will make the downers upset with you.
Right.
We were just talking about that when I used to sing at the studio where I worked, and the downer at the studio would slam her door because I would break out in like show tunes.
Right.
I mean, it's understandable maybe that she slammed her door, but anyway,
Well, let me
usually
just
the
say,
group
too,
sung along.
I want to hear this too, but I also want to tell people if you have Darrell's book, which is called "What If Godzilla Just Wanted a Hug," it's called "Bless Your Miserable Boss," and she'll love you for it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, go
No,
ahead.
I didn't need to go into the whole story, but I'm just saying that me and Cathy were talking about how that group, I can't make the mistake of thinking it's my response, because I got this thing where I thought, well, it's my responsibility to be of service to these people.
Right.
Not in a proselytizing, just to bring love and positive thoughts. And even if I got invited to speak to that group, or you're working there, it comes to a point where I got to make a decision, because I'm holding myself back by doing that.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where it becomes obvious that I got to let go of that.
Right.
And you let go of it. And what the amazing thing is with a lot of these people in my life who I think, oh, I'm just going to call so-and-so and see how he's doing. But he was a downer. But I start feeling good again about everybody.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's-
and
and
you see the Christ in them in that moment.
Yeah. And a part of me goes, I don't know if you need to really call him. But I go, no, this will be great. And I call him, and all of a sudden, and now I resist the urge. It's like the temptation.
I'll tell you why you resist it, or sometimes because you or I have to kick each other in the behind because I'll say it or you'll say it.
Yeah.
I go, I don't like the sound of that voice, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, he's a nice guy. I should do this.
Yeah, well, sometimes I call, I'll get the thought by myself. Oh, let me just call. I'm bored in the car. But that doesn't mean I have to call these people. It means that I could just bless them.
Well, trust me, you always get the thought by yourself because I would never tell you to call that guy.
No, I mean the thought not to call them.
I'm just
I
kidding,
mean
man.
the positive being loving to myself thing.
I know.
But what really happens is I have been mindful of that lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's improved
Yes.
because I've been resisting that urge.
Yeah.
You can't tap into the lowest denominator.
No.
You're not going to lift the rest of
No.
this.
Right.
If we are to be the lighthouses, if we are to teach these
Right.
these principles,
Right.
we can't tap into the lowest vibration.
That's
if
right.
you do so, then you're not helping anyone.
No.
So it's a time of great self-love and self-care.
Yeah.
You know what? They're not resonating where I am. Doesn't mean that you're judging them.
No.
It just
Right.
means I can't tune into that. I will raise them up.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it is a time of self-care. And you had mentioned that yesterday,
Yeah.
where it's a self-love choice now.
Yeah,
for you.
and you know what? And they're
Yeah.
having fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that they're not happy in that. They're fine in that.
Absolutely.
I don't need to fix them.
Yeah.
Well, they invest a lot of energy into thinking that way. That's the thing, like what you're saying too. It's like we think it's easy to think, oh, they're a victim because they're thinking negative. No, they're actually like one of the people at my school that I'm thinking about is she invests a lot of pride in thinking that way. A lot of pride in being good at this, like inflicting this suffering upon herself and the kids and stuff. You know, like she like walks around like I'm the best teacher in the world because of that. You know, so to sit around, and I think if we were raised and we're empathetic and when we were younger, we thought it was our job to take care of our parent or. You know, we got this twisted message, but Darrell's been saying a lot lately, it's you've suffered enough, and reminding myself I've suffered enough that there's no suffering required. Yeah. Yeah, because I end up getting drained out and depleted, then I can't do anything for anybody.
Right.
And yesterday I kept saying to Darrell, I'm over this. And then I thought about what that means. It's like, really the healthy version, it means I'm vibrating above.
Over
it.
I'm over
I love
this.
that. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, Mom and I were talking on the way down here. There is... You know, and this is just an observation, might even be a little bit of a judgment on my part, is that there is a faction of the planet now where they love and maybe even are addicted to victim consciousness.
Oh yeah.
They're happy in that way. But that you can't be a part of that.
No.
That's not where we are. So I love that you keep waking up to, this is not where I want to tune in.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just said that because look, Ed, you're not going to believe this. This is what I wrote in my book yesterday morning.
Let's hear it. And I want to say too, I know when just now what you were saying, because I've noticed Darrell's been really making life affirming choices lately in certain ways. Like I just see all the positive effects and the things that have been opening up as a result, because he was saying that how he reminds himself to make loving choices, and he's been really, it's been inspiring to see because, even like the guy from the Coast Guard you're going to be visiting, all these these amazing things have been happening, so it's cool to watch.
Look, nothing happens by mistake. This is from 3/17. We're recording this on 3/18.
Yeah, let's hear this.
3 means March.
I thought you were going to give us some kind of
people might go, oh wow, 3/18, that must be the tape. No, it's just March, folks. So I wrote self-pity. I underlined. This is my journal.
That's a great journal.
Because New Jersey, we call journals journals, but it's perfect because that's what I use it for. It's my journal.
Yeah.
So every morning after my prayers and meditations, I'll start contemplating my day. Plus some things that came to me in the meditation. And I can't believe this is what I picked up for myself. I wrote self-pity, and I made little, the colon. I am not a victim ever.
Good.
So I resist the urge to cast myself as one.
Ooh, that is fantastic.
Because there's an urge there.
Yeah,
there's always
there
a
is.
little urge. If you had 2 parents, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do it.
Yeah, I've heard it.
You're lucky.
I've seen it in my text box.
understand. You know how it is, guys.
Oh my God.
That's a classic self-pity whine from men, but they say it in a way that seems like it's, you know how it is, guys.
Yeah.
Gotta go home. The wife.
Yeah,
you know
the
how
wife.
it is, guys. But they're really whining.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's under the guise of,
love
you know how it is, guys. Gotta go pick up some stuff for the wife.
Yeah.
But that's not a positive. You're basically saying
100%.
something. They're taking a turd and wrapping a bow around it.
That's right.
And the other men go, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like my life either.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, I mean, the other half of the self-pity thing is like the getting myself all riled up with anger that I'm breaking free from it. And it's like, if I didn't feel like a victim on it, because in spiritual psychology, they talk about, spiritual psychologists really means psychology, because psychology means study of the soul, but people forgot about it, so they started calling it spiritual psychology, right?
Right.
Because
That's
you went to USM too, right?
We went to the same school.
Yeah.
So, I was just going to bring up the concept of like polarities is when like we're stuck between these two polarities of, one, I'm a victim of the situation, but the other, I'm better than this situation, and and you can tell because neither one's really joy.
No,
one feels like crap because I'm feel powerless. The other is just like an adrenalized fear reaction really to the other side, right? But when we're feeling the way this is designed to feel, or the way we're in the healthy flow, it just feels like joy. It really does. I feel complete freedom. I'm not sitting there going, oh, that's school, that, this, or that. I'm just living my life joyfully. I mean, I might go by the school and go, oh. But I'm not really identifying myself with it anymore. And that's where my liberation, my freedom is realizing, like, the things that my mind makes a big deal about the school, they don't even exist in other people's minds. It's just some weird dream, some weird game everyone's playing in that space together.
Right.
But, you're no longer in alignment. That's what happens.
Yeah. That's what I tell them.
You're no longer in alignment. In fact, that's one thing that I say for me is that, okay, that other part, it no longer exists for me.
Yeah.
It's a lie. And I am no longer in alignment with that energy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
You're in alignment with God.
Yeah, exactly.
And with the good in life.
Yeah.
And when you're in alignment, you can't help but attract.
That's right.
And you can't help but spread.
Yeah.
But spread that joy.
Yeah.
It's contagious.
It's contagious.
It is.
Yeah.
One of the things growing up with Mom, if I whined, there was no whining. Oh man, that we were not allowed. My brother and I, no whining.
She didn't offer you a little cheese with your wine?
Yeah.
That's what they'd say on the East Coast. You want a little cheese with that, Darrell? With what? Your wine. Oh, no, Dad.
Yeah.
But I get it now, because when people come up to me and they're complaining and whining, it's like nails on a blackboard for me.
I could feel it.
100%.
In my solar
Awful.
plexus start to constrict.
Yeah.
You know what the great thing is, though, that the positive thoughts, the positive imaginings are so much more powerful that I'm starting to believe more and more. Yes, my negative imaginings are when I'm trying to be places where I'm no longer in alignment with, due to my own choice or a sense of obligation, which is never a good reason. Well, the most obvious thing that does to me is make me feel bad. But it takes a lot of work before it really starts manifesting, thank goodness, in like ill health or a financial ruin or whatever, than when I'm thinking the affirmative imagination.
Right.
Because just yesterday, I have this acquaintance I met on my walks. I take a walk in the morning. He happened to be one day wearing a Coast Guard hat.
Right.
And you never meet, I went, in case the people listening, I'm a Coast Guard veteran. So you never meet anyone in the Coast. If you're a Coast Guard veteran, you meet a guy in the Coast Guard, it's like seeing a unicorn.
Right.
You're like, wait a minute, really? Were you really? Because we never see each other.
Right.
It's weird. It's like, we're like those, what were those guys? There was that movie. They were the Highlanders. They never saw another one. If they did, they had to kill them. So we're like that. So I meet this guy, and we're just chatting along, and then he starts giving me some advice that I never knew I was, things to fill out with the VA and stuff that I never knew were part of my benefits.
Right.
And then he was like like an angel. He disappeared, because I never got his number or anything.
Right.
And then I saw him one other time, like months later, and he asked me about something else.
Right.
And said, oh, you're entitled to that too, and gave me the information, just told me, and I remembered. I said, all right.
Wow.
So about 3 weeks ago, I bump into him again. Now, this has been going on. We're talking like 10-year period. I've seen this guy. This is the third time in 10 years. Because we never really exchanged other than, hey, he's just like an angel on my path.
Right.
So we finally exchanged numbers. We started talking, and we were texting each other. I said, I got a book that has a bunch of stories that are life. So I included life lessons from the Coast Guard. Because he's really a Coast Guard guy. I mean, he retired Coast Guard.
Right, a lifer.
Right? Yeah, I only did one tour, like a 5-year tour.
Right.
So, long story short, he says, that would be awesome. So I got his address, and it was raining that day, so I just mailed him. They got to his house the next day, because we're both in L.A. And now after he gets the book, my imagination started shifting and goes, oh, no. He's going to read these stories and think I'm a worm somehow. I'm exaggerating the truth. I'm not. well, oh no, maybe I am lying about what I did in the
Right.
and I had to use, no, I suffered enough. Like that's because that's that part of me that makes up those
Yeah.
stories.
Good.
And then that part goes, oh, okay. So yesterday,
Right.
I was feeling good. Then yesterday, I started thinking the healthier thought. Oh, I can't wait to hear from him. I hope he texts me. Like the healthy thought. Like because I let go of the old.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I'm going to read something about denial and affirmation.
Good.
Because we have to deny what we don't want.
Right.
But then we have to follow it up with what we do want.
Right.
And the good thing for me, you could use whatever denial that works best. This phrase was taught to me years ago by Mike Dugan, who was my mentor when I was brand new. And when I would be worried about things working out for me, he goes, Darrell, you suffered enough. Mm-hmm. But now I'm using it even at a higher level where any of that part of me, I remind that, no, we suffered enough. We don't have to make these imaginations.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
And as soon as for me, when the denial works, then immediately the other half of me wakes up.
Right.
It starts going, oh, well. So I started
Yes.
getting excited. So excited. And remember, I don't see this guy. So excited. I go for my walk yesterday, and, we're on a giant mountain and stuff. Like the
Right.
timing has to be right on the money for us to
Right.
meet. It doesn't make any sense. I walk. He walks right to me, and he's
Perfect.
smiling. And he goes, I started reading your book. And I purposely put Post-its to where just the stories where the Coast Guard was, because
Good.
I thought,
Good,
my
yeah.
little mind thought he probably just wants to read the Coast Guard ones. It was even better. He goes, yeah, I'm about halfway through the one with the monster on it. What if Godzilla just wanted a hug? He goes, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm thinking, he didn't even skip to the Coast Guard. He's actually reading it.
The whole thing.
He's
is
enjoying the whole thing.
fantastic. Wow.
I love that.
That was divinely orchestrated.
But do you see how the positive imagining has so much
Yes.
power?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you got to use it on these little things, because normally I'm better at big things than I am at little things. Like shoelaces will bug me more than broken shoelaces, more than like if the car dies on the street and then I could jump right into higher power thinking
Right.
for some reason. I
Right.
could click right in.
Right.
And that's another thing. Like Mike Dugan would remind me, he goes, Darrell, it's okay. He goes, it's not the big things. It's always the broken shoelaces. But when we work with the broken shoelaces and exercise that spiritual muscle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then then you get to it shifts everything, because
Everything.
now your muscle is really
It's
Yeah.
ready.
strong. So let me just read this affirmation and denial thing,
Great.
because it goes with the show. Hang on. All right. It'll explain what we're talking about when using our imagination. And this is really the crux of it.
Where are you getting this from?
This is from 365 Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was suggested to us by Rod Schweitzer, who's a fan and
Yeah.
gets the show. And this was from the 16th, and it's affirmation and denial. By far the larger part of our thinking processes are automatic, casting the images of their acceptances into the universal mind that reacts upon them. Every thought's a seed, every thought's a prayer.
Right.
Thus it is that fear can bring about a condition of failure, while faith can reverse it. In spiritual mind treatment, affirmation and denial are for the purpose of erasing the wrong thought patterns and establishing correct ones. This practice is both scientific and effective in that a denial tends to erase the negative condition, while an opposite affirmation tends to establish a new thought pattern that works as automatically as the negative one did.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Isn't that great?
Yep.
Charles Fillmore said that using a denial is like brushing away the cobwebs.
Yes.
And I love that, because it's just like, I have a garden, so I go out and water. I'm always brushing, but it's a simple, once you learn how to do it, it's a simple brushing away. But man, if you walk into one of those things, then it's not so pleasant.
Right.
So a denial is a simple brushing away of the negativity and coming into alignment
Yeah.
with that greater
Yes.
good, which is yours.
Right.
Yeah, and as soon as they come up is the key.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they come up, say, we suffered enough. We don't have to make up these stories or whatever you use. Emmett Fox gives a great description of it that I reread every year because it's an Around the Year with Emmett Fox, but I read it years ago and it was when my mind went, oh, like when I first read this stuff, it was almost like I was reading stuff I already knew but didn't hear from anyone else
Right.
before.
Yeah.
Because there was no alarms went off, and it's the one where when a negative thought comes, it's just like a little cinder coming off the fireplace. And if you brush it off right away, there's minimal to no damage.
Yep.
But if you let it sit there and you start going, oh, there's a cinder there.
Yeah.
And
then it
it's
burns.
too late.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too late.
Right.
Yep.
So get
Yeah.
rid of them as soon as they pop
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But even if you let it sit there, that's the thing. God doesn't do spite work.
No.
Because as soon as we're willing to come around and start affirming and trusting,
Yeah.
we're taken care of.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the best part.
That's the best
That's
part.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So the word imagination, I always like to see it as I magi nation, that you're the magician of your nation. You're the
Yeah.
magician.
Yes.
So, as you know, it's the degrees of imagination like you did at the beginning was, that's down here, lower frequency,
Yeah.
where you were
Yeah.
entertaining, the negativity. And you can use your imagination that way.
Yeah.
Or denial. No, I've suffered enough. Then you jump into the magic of the imagination.
Right. Yes.
And you can create all sorts of things. And as you opened up at the beginning, is that anything we want already exists.
Yes.
So might as well use the imagination. It's been said that the imagination is the conduit between your three-dimensional self to a fifth-dimensional self.
Yes.
It's that conduit to spirit, to
Yes.
what you want. So it's those things that you already want already exist. So I love what you opened up with.
Yeah,
Ed,
from the,
because
book,
that's
yeah.
the power
Yes.
of it. How to tune into that.
Right.
And don't you encourage people to think extravagantly in their imagination?
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
I gotta say this
Yeah.
though, for people listening too. There's a lot of people like myself in the past who don't realize like this is all about you, right? Everything you're describing is like. So I've been telling my wife, it's like sometimes you do got to come out of the closet if you're suffering, and you don't feel good, and you're not someone like you don't have a problem with this, like because you got that East Coast thing, you're gonna let it out, right? Like my family that's a healthy thing because I come from the East Coast, but then I was implanted over here, right?
Yeah.
And everything's Darrell calls it packing the musket, and I'm just
I'm
talking to the people right now because I know you, because I know me, who are beating yourself up. You think this is a beat yourself up game when you start thinking negatively, but that's probably because you're taking too much crap before you even get to that place. You need to admit, come out of the closet that you're suffering and that you don't feel good. Stop pretending
Yes.
you're the happiest person on earth because somehow Charles Fillmore or someone, whoever you're looking at now, is going to judge you. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
Yes.
Nancy or Cathy or Darrell or Ed think of you. Sometimes you got to come out of the closet and admit you're suffering like me at this job that I've been going through, so that you then can get into denial of that's not who you really are.
Yes.
And then jump, because the energy of letting that out will create momentum as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I forget there's even a me that this is really about, just because of the way how twisted my mind used to be in terms of service. Like, because I come from a family of people, oh, don't worry about me. I'll just, like, I just do this. Like, my mom was like that, like, I know, I'm what I think doesn't matter. I'm just doing this for everyone else. But what happens with people like in that pattern is you end up not helping anyone. And everyone ends up like going, let's play along with them. Well, they're trying to help us because we don't want them to get mad, or we don't want any of that. Sometimes you got to empty the crap out before you can like get on to, and sometimes that in itself could be a joy for you if you've never allowed yourself to feel how you really feel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've got to tell you guys? My take on Ed, what you're
I'd
going
love to hear
through,
that. Yeah.
is there is so much greater good for you
Yes.
Yes.
that wants to experience
Yes.
the good
Yeah.
that you are seeking is seeking you.
Right.
And so the universe sometimes has to like hit you with a 2x4
Totally.
before
Yeah.
you are willing to move out of the good that you know.
Right.
Yes.
Because the good that you know, we're not static.
That's right.
Everything's always changing. There's
Right.
always greater good.
Yes.
So where
Yes.
you are right now, to me, it just says, boy, there is something fabulous. I don't know what it is.
I feel it, yeah.
But there is something fabulous.
I feel it. Yeah, I really do. And
that
that's
is
why
calling to you.
I think that's why it's good for me to share this, because everyone's at different places. And I know, like, when I sit and I do a lot of time spend time sitting in the prosperous energy. We go to a place called One Culver near my school where Apple has their place there.
Yes.
And it's just people who are, it's just a different vibration than just on my breaks even. I'll go there for 5 minutes and drink coffee.
Yeah.
And this good that you're describing and that I've been living in, I can feel it, and it makes it makes more sense than anything I've ever done. What I was going to say is where it gets tricky for a lot of people is when, from a very young age, especially if we had religion, we sometimes got these messages that service involves suffering. And I was telling Darrell on the way here, and it's so deeply ingrained that I don't realize I'm going back to it sometimes because I am helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also like getting to these scary places where there's nothing left in me to give.
Right.
And so that part of the equation, but if we've never, it's like I was raised to be like pleasure was like a sin, like these subtle messages, but it's like, it seems like obvious to the people who know and love you. And thankfully I have people that I've now gotten to a point where I'm authentic with, they know who I am and they can keep pushing me. But I gotta be the first to admit, sometimes I just get blinded by these old patterns that they're so close to being what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Except I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Except I don't have the energy to really keep giving to these kids that I'm like, I'm giving to all the kids that blah, blah, blah need it. No one else understands. But if I'm dying in the process, right, it's not a balanced equation and it will not work,
No.
So,
because
yes.
giving that joy, because that's what you're doing.
Yes.
And you're giving joy and opportunity and magnificence.
Right.
And that produces joy in your heart.
Right.
And
That's
in the
right.
heart of everyone else.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, rather than feeling bad about service, I always think of service as, oh my God, it's so much fun.
I agree.
To make somebody's, just
agree.
opening the door for somebody.
Yeah,
Or
totally. 100%.
what? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
We just, my husband Steve and I just got back from Mexico where we went to Rancho La Puerta. And as soon as we got out of the van, I almost felt like it was Fantasy Island. People were there to just, don't worry about a thing. Let's, we're going to escort you over to have a really nice lunch. They took care of our luggage. And this whole place just resonated with the employees. Were so happy to be there because they were being of service from such a high place. Like I felt like they recognized and honored the divinity in me as soon as we got off that van, and it was just so inspirational for me in that if we always just serve the highest vibration in others, the highest Christ in others, then it can't help but boomerang
100%,
back.
100%.
And we just feel good about ourselves.
Right.
So it's, like you said, service
produces so much joy.
Yes. And that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
That's what's really inspiring for me is that sometimes it's just so clear. Like if I was doing this in an environment full of enthusiastic people who really understood what this is about, I'd be moving up and it would just be happening so naturally.
Yeah.
But in this environment where the imagination is being used to, got to hold on to your benefits. These kids aren't really even capable. 50% of them fail. Blah, 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 blah. Data. It's what I'm bringing. Sure, it's great, but it's like, it's not getting the proper value.
Yeah.
So forget, when I'm in it's so clear to me that I was telling Darrell, I do feel like now that we're not pushing and shoving and scheming, it's more like we're a caterpillar becoming, right? And it's our chicken being born from an egg. And it's like, don't worry about all the details because you can't even fathom them anyway because you're about to be born into something totally different. And that's what I feel like is happening for me.
And guess what happens with a caterpillar?
Yeah.
It goes into a cocoon. Do you think that's happy for a caterpillar?
Right.
And it goes through, literally, scientifically, it goes through a green goo stage.
Yeah.
And I like to say when I'm going through something, I'm just going through that green goo stage.
Yeah.
Because you're going to move past that.
Yes.
Because you're creating
That's
a
right.
whole new vibration.
That's right.
And a whole new beauty.
That's right.
And a whole new joy.
Yeah.
Because the caterpillar can't stay a caterpillar because that would be static.
Right.
Yeah.
And the universe is not static.
That's right.
There's always movement. There's always movement.
Right.
So maybe you're going through the green goose stage now, but
You're looking a little gooey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I
And he
feel
had
it.
the green glasses on.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right.
That's right. You
Yeah.
had the green glasses
Totally.
on.
Right.
You're being birthed.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the same thing. It's like we
100%.
can't stay in I can't go back. Like I'm moving into a new realm too. And
Right.
I can't think just because there's this much of that old place that I still feel I'm a positive influence in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'd be this much of a positive influence or more back in my kindergarten class, but you know what? The seat won't fit me properly.
That's
Like
right.
I'd be there, and I'm talking to the
That's 100%
teacher's
right.
younger than me. What am I doing here? I've outgrown kindergarten. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm bad.
No.
because I outgrew kindergarten. I love Mrs. Capalbo, but now I've moved on.
You won't love her for very long if you stay in that
No,
seat. Though,
yeah,
right?
that's the thing.
Yeah. And you think about it, like I didn't have like you got to think. When you say it, it's just so obvious. Like my wings, I didn't have wings before, right? I was crawling around like a grub,
That's right.
right? And now I have wings, and it's a whole different world.
Yep.
And I feel them being birthed.
And
you know?
guess what? Everyone, what do we all think about with the caterpillar? Look how beautiful. Look how,
Yeah.
you're becoming a
Butterfly.
Butterfly.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful expression of life.
That's
A
right.
Mariposa.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So one of the things that we like to listen to, astrology, right?
Yeah.
And astrologically, for those of you that are listening, there's a lot going on right now. In
Right.
April we're going to have an eclipse. This for the world. We're in the Goo Stage, and it's going to be what these astrologers said is that there's going to come a time when future generations are going to look back at us
Yeah.
and say they were the ones, the crest of the wave that brought forth
That's right.
a new way
That's right.
of being, a new way of thinking.
I feel that.
So I think we're right on target.
Yeah.
You know, we
I
are in the
agree.
Goo Stage, and it's up to us to be the lighthouses to
Yeah.
bring forth future generations
That's right.
into such a great way of being.
Yeah.
So, you know, count our blessings. And for those of you listening, you're part of that.
That's
Yeah.
right. 100%.
Yeah, I want to let go of the side of the pool and go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But, you know, the beautiful thing is that everything we've ever been involved with has brought us to this point where we are to a point now where we can soar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it feels lonely because we feel like we're just out there
Yeah.
alone. Well, maybe we are for a while, but we're never, ever separate from the power and the presence of God. There's never a moment we're
That's right.
alone, which sometimes we feel.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, there's something greater here.
Yeah.
And so every single area, every single thing we've done has brought us closer to really the divine plan of our lives.
Yeah.
And we all have a divine plan.
right.
And look at how many children you've blessed, how many families you've
Yeah.
blessed. Just think about that. Boy, that's
Well, you know, it's a whole different highway that we're on. The
Yeah.
road that they're trying to cling to, that it's just crumbling, and it
Yeah.
doesn't even exist anymore. It's not working. Or like in education, I was just thinking about this. A lot of what we look to for what they look to in education is colleges. They do research, and they find out more and more stuff that's aligned with metaphysical truths, principles, right? But unfortunately, the way it's used is like they try to bring in these trainings, and they keep trying to pound on the old way and get them to do it, and then they use these old delivery models. So, but if you think about if I think about it this way, that the studies that are being done, they're really like the mystics saying this is what's going to happen. It's already coming. You can get on board with it or not. We don't even need to train you.
Right.
It's how it already works.
Yeah.
When I think about it that way, because everything that I do as an educator always turns out to be in alignment with what all the best research shows is actually the only thing that really works. Mm-hmm. But then you get these people who they don't consider themselves mystics, and they don't consider themselves like, they don't necessarily have these principles to rely on to keep opening their mind to becoming. Because all it is keeping up with what we're becoming. We're naturally becoming. We don't have to force ourselves. We don't have to even be trained into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're becoming it. We just have to figure out how do we stay in tune, how do we stay in alignment with the becoming, which is what this show is all about, and why I'm sharing with everyone, very frankly, what is going on within myself. Because if you're out there, if the show doesn't leave you feeling like you're in the momentum of the flow of your life, and that no matter what's going on in your head, you are moving in the right direction, and that all is well. Don't try to be like Darrell and Ed. You're trying to be like yourself. You are learning to become more yourself, just like Darrell and Ed are learning to become more Darrell and Ed, and Cathy's learning to become more Cathy, and Nancy's learning to become more Cathy, which really is becoming
More Cathy? You mean more Nancy?
more Nancy. Oh yeah.
Although
Nancy.
Cathy's very attractive, but I think she wants to be Nancy.
Nancy's becoming more Nancy. Thank you. Point of clarification. Yeah. So, but the thing is, no one can do it for you, man. You have to become it. If you're in the Goo Stage, just find friends that also understand. Listen to these shows and just revel in being in the Goo Stage, because at least you're living and becoming.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, the best. I think Cathy and I said this yesterday too, that you have to do, like, this whole way of living. It really is something that I must do on my own, but I don't do it alone.
That's right.
Meaning,
That's it.
And you'll feel less lonely
Yes.
if you start doing it on your own. What I mean about doing it on your own and not doing it all alone or by yourself, this is the crazy part. If you just get into a simple habit of reading a few of your favorite little inspirational books, whatever they are.
This is everything, yeah.
Yeah, or if you have a current book that's, spiritual or is elevating your mood in some way.
Right.
And when you get up and you take the time, I get up before Lori, my wife. She wakes up like Snow White in the Enchanted Forest. I don't know. Some of these people, I don't know, is Steve like that? Because
Yeah, I know.
But you attracted that.
I know.
Whoa.
But it takes me a little extra work to feel like Snow White in the morning.
Yeah.
But it's work well invested.
Yeah.
And in the morning, please, as you're doing this, as I'm doing it, I'll today, 365.
I like you being Snow White, by the way. I like Darrell being Darrell.
Okay. Well, or Emmett Fox, whatever, or the Daily Word, whatever your morning routine. Just a few things. It doesn't even have to be a lot. Just get up before the ruckus starts in the house. Some of our friends have kids. They like to get up before all that begins. I was doing this while I was in the military. I let people know, look, there's no excuse.
Yeah, we do it everywhere we go. If we go on vacation,
travel,
whatever,
I would bring my books.
Yeah.
And I was getting woken up at different hours, but I still would, and I'd make my time. And as I'm getting ready to go do the readings, this is how it already starts helping you.
Right.
I'm already telling myself, my inner grumbler, no, don't say anything. We're going to have our coffee. And as soon as you start doing your readings, you're going to feel better.
Good.
Yeah.
And as soon as you open these books in the morning, once you start doing it for just 30 days,
Right.
you're going to start seeing that. Cathy said this at a sermon, that these aligning yourself with these principles aren't just so, this is the great truth. It's not so we can just endure life. Mm-hmm. No, it shifts our reality. Totally. And you're going to start seeing things going on in your experience where, in your circumstance, we're like, holy cow, those two guys on that show are right. This is more than just positive thinking. Yeah. Everything is changing big time. And then that's going to motivate you more. And you're not doing it, you're doing it, for yourself on your own, But you're not doing it alone because you'll be thinking, Darrell and Ed are doing it. Or Nancy, I know Nancy does it. I know Cathy does it. And another thing you do like that helps me is like I have a God box and I have my journal. And I jot these things down. I throw them in the God box. And this one, because two knuckleheads in my life don't necessarily believe the most positive things for themselves, like I tend to be for myself. So look at these two. I threw this one in just so you know what you could do for others, because this is going to make you maybe think, well, I don't want to pray for them because I don't want my friends to get more success than me. I want mine. I don't know about this Darrell guy. Well, listen, folks, I think the same way too.
I'll tell you. Let me set this up real quick because you pointed this out. I had dinner with my in-laws last night, and Darrell's like, "Oh God, now I'm gonna get it for what you for your." And he's right.
He spends time with his in-laws, and then I get pounded on the next day.
Because what happens is we can't really stick it to the people we want to stick it to, so we stick it to the people we love.
That's the first thing I texted. I said, "Oh boy, he's with his father-in-law. That means Pizarro's gonna get it tomorrow during the show."
I sent him, "That's what friends are for." With a picture of a laughing face with a
But the best thing about once you get over the hurdle of, well, wait a minute, I want my good first. Well, once you get over the hurdle of that silly thought, which is so stingy.
Yeah.
And I heard a dinosaur once say, being stingy will make you extinct.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right.
That
It's
is so
horrible,
good.
man.
But generosity, and when we say share our good and we talk about tithing and stuff, it's not just spreading your seeds generously of your financial. It's the
everything.
seeds of your generous thoughts.
Yes.
So these are two,
So
you
true.
know Steven. Steven's been on the show,
Oh,
Steven
yeah.
Tom Thorpe. So I added this to my God box.
No, what does he do? The camera is over at Unity of Santa Barbara now.
Yes, I know. I'm so grateful.
Well, you know
for
that was
him.
like an answer to his direct prayers because he was doing
Ours
the
as
cameras
well.
at another church.
He's
and,
so
He
fantastic.
stepped out boldly. Now
Yes.
he's getting paid more. And he's getting so much more love. He gets to have fun because you guys have such great equipment up there.
No.
That's unitysb.org. We
Thank
always talk
you.
about their services. No matter
Yes.
where you are, you can tune in. They have a great new website. It live streams at 10 a.m. on Sundays on the West Coast, so whatever time that is for you. But it is one of the true truth centers.
Yeah.
Because if this stuff if the truth is not setting you free, it's not the truth.
That's right.
That's true.
And they are true to principle. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. They are true to principle. These principles speak for themselves. They light you up.
Yeah.
Especially when they're speaking through people who actually live them.
Yes, that's the key.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
100%.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it takes one to know
Take
one.
it from a guy in the green goo. It works.
So listen, so these I wrote for my two friends, and I do them for Lori, for like if I think of you guys and something pops in my head, I'll throw it in there. And I wrote, Steve gets cast and well paid. He is thrilled and appreciative because he's an actor.
Nice.
His humble appreciation attracts more fun acting work. So what that does in my mind, I've already seen him getting cast, and then but forces my imagination. I can already see him on the set being very helpful and
Right.
thankful,
Oh,
Yes.
and him
absolutely.
being so appreciative and
Yes.
not arrogant,
Perfect.
and it attracting more. So the imagination when you throw these in your God box already starts. Yeah, but what about mine? Well, here's the good news. All that joy I'm thinking about Steven,
It
I don't-
boomerangs
yeah,
back.
I don't have to worry about, well, I don't know what God's will is for me. I know what it is for Steve. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Because me doing this for Steve, God's going to take care of it
Totally.
for me. And it'll
Totally.
come in left field just like it will for Steve.
I'm transformed just by listening to you and me imagining
Yeah.
Steve because
Yes.
now I'm feeling in this flowing, joyful, not trying to get things. I'm free
Yes.
because we're prosperous when we're not even worried about getting things, and that's what allows more to come through. I'm feeling it just by hearing you read it.
Little does Ed know I'm going to put him on the spot now. So then for
Oh,
Ed, I wrote, Ed is finally looking ahead. Instead of looking backwards at
I
that
love it.
dump you've outgrown your kindergarten desk. So I wrote, Ed is finally looking ahead. His faith of a mustard seed. There's a tiny little bit of faith has taken root, and he enthusiastically embraces his true place.
Amen.
Praise
Amen.
And that true place could be, you know where he comes alive? I know he's talking about being a service at the school, but we went to an open mic. We happened to meet this veteran after the show. We go to an open mic. He invites us. He's doing an open mic at a VFW American Legion. I'm an American Legion member.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a badass. No, I'm just grateful they accepted me.
You are a badass.
So I say, Ed, we got to go. And I didn't know, just to go. I said, bring your guitar. And Ed was doing a little bit like I would do. Like, you have this great thing come. Isn't it amazing? When answered prayer comes, then all of a sudden you go, oh, I don't know. It doesn't really feel good. There's a lot of traffic going to Hollywood.
Right.
You know? So I said, no, come on. And he was almost like, I could tell he was dragging his heel just like I would. I'm not saying I'm any better.
Yeah, because also the time of day.
Work. So we go. And he has his guitar. First of all, this veteran is a Vietnam veteran. So he's 80 years. He's in his 80s, you know? He's like would be my father's age.
Yeah, we talked about it. We met him after the show at a coffee shop in Burbank, and I sat next to him, and he had a Coast Guard hat on. No, he had the American Legion hat on, and I was like, he just out of nowhere turned to me and goes, because he was me, it was you, it was Stephen Tom Thorpe, and it was Indy, and he goes, are you guys in a band? And I go, because we were high off the show.
So we're radiating
and I just
this
said,
like rock star positive energy
so I said,
doing the show.
So I told him, no, we just live like we are. And he lit up, and we talked to him for like 2 hours, and that's what ended up leading us there, yeah.
So it turns out I got there before Ed.
Yeah.
And this guy the guy is like an amazing musician. Not only that, usually these open mics, the sound is inferior.
Oh, yeah.
Dingy.
Yeah.
He starts playing. I go, Ed, you got to get over here because it sounded so good.
Right.
So finally Ed comes, and Ed's getting excited but a little, nervous like we all are. I mean, I'd be terrified to go up, just go up there,
Right.
Ed gets up there, and the guy goes, "Sire, use my guitar." And his guitar,
Amazing.
This guitar,
really well.
plugged in, dialed in with the sound. I mean, it was.
I think it was a Guild. It was really no, a Taylor. It was a Taylor. It's a really beautiful sounding guitar.
Dude, I bet me, even who can't play a guitar, would sound decent. That's how good this guitar sounded.
Right.
He gets up there, and I could tell Ed's like slowly getting into the groove. All of a sudden, it was like this different person.
There you
I'm
go.
like, that's the Ed.
That's it.
That's
it.
the service.
Right. Wow.
Because it's almost like, Ed, when I joined the Coast Guard. I joined the Coast Guard. My real love was art. I got accepted to art school with a scholarship.
Right.
But it was so intimidating.
Yeah.
And unpredictable of my talent, and I didn't know it was God coming through me, so I
Right.
thought it was me who had to.
Yeah.
So it made me more self-doubt. So I knew I could be like of service in the Coast Guard. Like I knew I could save lives and swim,
Right.
But it wasn't really risking me living in that really being of service
That's
that
true.
makes me feel high.
That's right.
So when Ed gets up there and he starts playing, like, that's the real Ed.
I love that.
And that's this is an open mic during a bar with a football game playing. Like in a bar where a football game was
And
playing.
people
right.
turned and listened.
Yes, they were.
Fantastic.
Everyone was turned and because the other people were telling stories and stuff, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
Ed gets up. Everyone came alive.
Wow.
I love that.
And
Well,
these are
that's
like
it.
battle tested, because to be in the American Legion, you have to be in during a conflict.
Right.
not
Oh,
like
yeah.
during peacetime.
Yeah.
So these are like battle testing, like Marines. And he's singing a song that's just a joyful ditty about getting up in the morning and being
Right.
happy.
Yeah.
Instead, like you would expect him to like get into something like Stairway to Heaven. No, and it was his own song.
Wow.
And they were all like children loving this
That's
joyful ditty.
That's right.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
When
Wow.
you're doing your highest joy, it's
That's
contagious. That's service.
Being of service
Yeah,
is
yeah.
doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last night I met a woman whose dream job was like building swords and stuff for Hollywood movies, and she ended up being in New Zealand and stumbling into this position, and then they, interviewed her, and the guy who interviewed her ended up being her life partner. And
wow.
And I was just thinking about how, you know, we can get twisted ideas about what we need to do to make money. She's making like probably 4 times what I meant, whatever.
That is
doing what she loves.
And she's making swords, and there's pictures of her like, look at me making swords.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you know, I have to just keep unwinding my mind that, like you were saying, like the people who make them, like really do make the high, they're not working the hardest. Often they're just doing their joy.
That's
so
it.
fun.
The highest
That's
joy.
totally
Yeah,
it.
because God gives me
Yeah.
music and songs. I could write like any song about anything in 2 minutes. I could write. But I've never, before, when I was doing the music, I didn't have these principles, and God within me was like driving me, but if anything, it was getting me in more trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm not competitive either with that. It's
Right.
because it doesn't make any sense to me to be that way. But and in my family, it was like kind of like a bad thing almost that I was doing this thing, you know? And so like I kind of almost like jumped like you. I never thought about that, but teaching really did become like the Coast Guard thing. And it kind of like, I'm super blessed because it helped me stabilize my life in so many ways.
Right.
But the other part of me is, it drives me insane. If I don't use it, it drives me into depression and anxiety and sick and like, and then I'm like on the worry that I'm going to open my mouth in a really inappropriate way in school, which is why I work with kids that open their mouths in really inappropriate
So you
ways
can
in
do
school,
that.
you
Yeah,
know?
it's okay.
But I don't want to be there anymore. And I
exactly.
actually, when I took my break yesterday, I happened to see a friend who's a music. He has a studio and he records big time, like Rufus Wainwright, this from Canadian, very popular, like successful musician. He's recorded his last album, and I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. And he has a kid that goes to my district, but I just happened to stay a little bit longer. I'm like, I'm not going to rush back to school. Let me just drink this coffee in the place I was talking about. And I saw him. We started talking, and he loves what he does, you know, and he's doing really well at it. There's just something timely. And I just told him, look, I got this creative, because I'm telling you, anytime I hear professional musicians, Johnny Marr, it's like, that's who I am. Like, I just haven't plugged it into making that my livelihood, but I could write songs. I could perform in front of as many people as you could put in front of me, but it just doesn't come from like anything. It's just in me to do it.
Right.
So it has been something that it's crazy because some people don't even know that about me. You know, it's like, because I've developed this other part of me because I needed to like figure out how to live on this planet. You know, I didn't think I was going to live through my 20s, man. I like that, like when I was younger. Yeah. You know, because I just didn't see the road ahead. You know, I didn't know how it was going to work. So it's good that this is being brought up right now because I've just been letting God open the way.
Good.
But I do know that when I do perform, like there's an energy that comes through me that just transforms the whole environment. So yeah, we'll see.
Do you know, the Bliss, what's the man's name?
Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell. He said if you follow your bliss and you're on that track, you will find that there will be people, there will be helping hands from all over. I love that quote of his. Yeah. And he followed his bliss. Right. He went out into the wilderness for I don't know how long to read about Nith and you know, he followed his bliss. And look how he blessed the world. Yeah.
Doing what he loved.
Doing what he loved. And I believe that when we follow our bliss and are doing what we love to do, boy, the doors open up. Yeah. And that, like in the Bible, it says the windows of heaven open up and pour down upon you an abundant blessing. So much of a blessing that you can't use it all.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all there for us. Yeah. And I know it's all there for you.
Well, you know, I have this CD, a band called Coconut Donut that I met a guy at a wedding from New York, and we wrote the whole thing over back and forth, and everything got written like we were writing songs. He would say, "Give me 5 syllables that rhymes with this." I didn't even know what the song's about. I just give him lyrics, and it was just amazing. Like, so it's really easy for me to do it because I love doing it. So it's really good we're talking about this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's so otherworldly for me. Like, it changed my life. It's actually kind of what led me here because I would write songs and this writing would come through me. And then later I'd go, oh, that's what that was about. Because I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
Like, and it helped me to see that there was a deeper intuitive wisdom within me. It changed my whole life.
Yeah.
I was literally like borderline, like I had sensory things. I had all this stuff, but the music And I almost failed out of college because I had so much anxiety. But the music taught me how I learned, taught me how to interact with people. I used to not go into parties at all. I'd wait outside because if I was so anxious, I didn't know anyone. I was like, I had no... But then the music put me in the middle of parties.
I love that.
And it changed my whole image of myself and everything else. And it was so fun. While I was kind of on my mom and dad's meal plan in college, it lasted. But then I didn't know how to live. So I had my mom brought me some Dockers and told me to go to a temp job, which then, some crazy stuff. But the music changed my life. I mean, it taught me who I was and how I learn and why I am the way I am.
Well, that might be one of the problems, which I think we all have, which is if it comes easy, it can't possibly earn or it's not credible, which is garbage. Yeah, that is total garbage.
Yeah.
The things that come easy are the things that the talents we're blessed with and that will attract prosperity.
Absolutely.
But we go, no, because it's not, I have to suffer to earn money over here in order to do what I really love. That's the bad thing in the head. You got to remember, it also comes from where this other thing we hear, or I've heard, which is, it's not service if it's not an inconvenience. It's like, get lost. Doing what you love is being of service.
Absolutely.
Because you're radiating
Yep.
so much good.
Right.
Yeah.
You know how much radiation of good Mick Jagger and Keith Richards?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
They're
definitely.
so old
Yeah.
and so young.
Exactly.
And making more than enough
Yeah.
doing what they love. And you know what? Lots of people benefit from
Absolutely.
the joy in their
Totally.
music
Yeah.
and all that blessing.
Yeah.
Totally. I love that.
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
That's
These guys
funny.
are older than Nancy, running around on stage like Nancy.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is that the light that comes through pure creativity when we're doing what we love dispels all darkness. And people that aren't in that power zone will not come near you. On the other hand, for a person like myself, when I'm squashing my own light, and I'm like 6'1.5", I'm kind of a taller person, the little people and the small thinkers, when they see, oh, here's a big lion who doesn't know he's a lion, they'll come around and they'll
Kick you.
Yeah.
And they'll get off on that.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I've backed myself. In the past, I had backed myself into that, and now I'm just like, I don't want to fight with these mice. I just want to, I just want to get back into my power and move on. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you know, I will tell you that you mentioned power. Fillmore's 12 Powers, which I have worked for years with the power of wisdom, love, and power.
Yeah. Wisdom,
Those three things for me just go, because for some reason, people think of power as not being good. Look at what you can do.
Yeah.
The good you can do when you accept your power.
Yes. That's
When
the
you
hard
accept
part.
your power.
Accepting it. Yes.
And accepting that power, because we're all powerful.
Yeah.
We're all powerful, and we're all powerful.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We're one with the power of God.
We wouldn't even
That's
exist without
huge,
power.
right?
It's so crazy that
Yes.
Yeah.
There would be no us if there was no power. It's
Yes.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like plugging in a blender, right? Like, go, oh my God, I'm not going to plug that thing in. Give that blender power. People think of it as something that's ruled over people.
Right.
That's
right.
Which it never can be, really,
No.
if it's
No.
real power. That's just
That's it.
force, right?
Real
That's just people
power
That's
forcing
it.
it, right?
Yep.
Creative.
Yeah, it really is.
It's creative.
It transforms everything. That's what I want to bring to the. Even if I'm not in schools, whatever. It's bringing power to a room because it lights up.
Absolutely.
Whatever
Yeah.
room you're in, bring the power, and
Yep.
it
Well,
reminds
it's like
other people.
flipping a switch.
Yeah.
Like you were talking earlier about the light, something about the light, and I thought, yeah, that's what life is all about, and that's what we're all about. Is rather than dwelling in the negativity and oh my
Right.
God, it's awful, blah 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 blah. Is all we have to do is just like flipping the switch as we entered this room,
Yeah.
and there was light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we got to remember.
Yeah.
Flip that switch.
Yes.
And
Flip
flip
the
it
switch.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to this from Ernest Holmes. This is a book that I got because of you, Nancy,
Oh, yeah.
from your Zoom. And it's called Creative Mind and Success. Darrell loved it, so I figured, let me order it immediately.
Oh, good.
And there's this, and I opened this yesterday. Our show is called The Prospering Power of Imagination today, and I happened to open to this called Using the Imagination. And I was preparing for the show, and I opened to the page that says Using the Imagination. Yeah, so
Isn't
I'm
that
just gonna read
amazing
part
how
of
this
this.
works?
So it says, as soon as we become rich in our thought, then we will be rich in our expression. These are not mere words, but the deepest truth that has ever come to the human race. Hundreds of thousands of the most intelligent thinkers and the most spiritual people of our day are proving this truth. We're not dealing with illusions, but with realities. Pay no more attention to the one who ridicules these ideas than you would to the blowing of the wind. In the center of your own soul, choose what you want to become to accomplish. Keep it to yourself. Every day in the silence of absolute conviction, know that it is now done. It is just as much done as far as you are concerned as it will be when you experience it in the outer. Imagine yourself to be what you want to be. See only that which you desire. Refuse to even think of the other. Stick to it. Never doubt. Say many times a day, I am that thing. Realize what this means. It means that the great universal power of mind is that, and it cannot fail.
Oh,
that
beautiful.
is so powerful.
Nice.
Whoa. Powerful.
Man, this show is just cooking along. There's not even...
Well, okay.
So let's see.
We have our daily word. We have
We have
breaths.
Let's get to 3 breaths.
Who was the lady?
I think it was Maureen Swift. Isn't
Was-
that the
Oh,
woman
Maureen.
who
If
found
that's the
your
one-
show?
She came to Infinite Prosperity because she followed your show. And
Oh,
she
right.
heard me
Yes.
On
on
the
your
show.
show,
Yeah.
and she tuned in. There's been a couple people that have come from your
Yeah.
show. Well, now there's more. Now we got Indy. here.
Yeah.
I love
Rod.
that. I love that. I
Rod.
love that.
Spikes came.
Yeah.
So she reminded us last night that, in case you're listening, Cathy Norman has a great prosperity workshop. It's free to attend. Go to,
UnityJoyOfLife.org.
that's it, and you'll have the Zoom
Go to
number.
the Infinite Prosperity class.
Yep, and it's Thursday night. So last night, Maureen, brought up 3 breaths, or we do these affirmative 3 breaths on our show, something new every week. And she reminded me of one we did a long time ago that's perfect for what Nancy was teaching about how we no longer have to worry or plan and scheme for our
Yes.
greater good. Like that's the good news. The good
right.
news is wonderful. You could, if you don't know what it is you want, or you know what you have now is okay, but you're ready to grow. The affirmation I've been using is wonderful things are happening for me now.
Now.
Love it.
Yes.
Love
Because
that.
that takes
I love
care of
that.
everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have to
Yeah.
meddle. So the 3 breaths we're going to do is I don't have to plan or scheme. I can't believe I forget the only thing that we came up with. It's like,
Because you don't have to plan or scheme.
yeah, I don't have to plan or scheme.
Right.
I don't have to plan or scheme. I've got angels on my team. So
Oh,
we're
I
gonna
love
do,
that.
so we're going to do a
Let's clear
clear
our
breath.
minds. Should we just do it all together or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do the first verse and then the second. Okay.
I
I don't have to plan or scheme.
I've
got
got
Angels on my team. Woo!
more
I'm
times.
loving that. Oh, one more time.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, well, why not?
I
yeah,
love
I love it.
I don't
Don't have to plan or scheme.
I've
got angels on my team.
One more. Here we go.
Okay.
I
I don't have to plan or scheme. I've got angels on my team. Love it.
I love that.
Kathy, you had a reading you want to share from like 1928?
Oh, yes, I'd
Yes.
love to. Yeah, I think you
that.
guys will love
Why don't we
this.
slide over to that reading, huh?
Yeah, and then we got this to wind her
1928, August the 8th. I don't know, it just came about. So this is what it says. Today's word of power. At no time do I think of God as apart or away from me. I know that God is always right at hand and that I am one with him. God is never separated from me or away from me. I do not think of God as ever apart from me and my life. I am so interrelated to God that there can be no dividing line between us. No sense of separation can exist between us. I am forever unified with God. He is ever near me, always ready to help and to serve me. His life and his love are mine, and he continues to draw near to me with his healing life. I move in thought toward God, and I feel him draw nearer and nearer to me. When I need help, God is right at hand. I am filled with his wisdom and love. I know just what to do at all times. Underneath me are his everlasting arms. About me is his soothing and inspiring presence. I cannot lack life or health. Inexhaustible resources of life are at my disposal, and I draw upon them without fear or depleting them. God's resources are right at hand, and I freely draw upon them. And that comes inspired by Acts 17:27, where it says that they should seek God if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. I love that. He is not far from each one of us.
Perfect.
And it could be he, she, mother, father, God, however,
Yes.
spirit, however you want to say it.
Well, I got two things that
And
inspired me.
by the way, I have a journal, but I think I'm going to buy myself a journal.
Yeah, you got to get a joint.
Yeah.
I know.
You got to
I
get
know.
a joint.
No.
So
I
that
want to
goes-
keep the crap, just the joy.
Yes. So I'm glad you read that. Two last things that I wasn't sure we were going to read, but we're going to read because they go perfectly with what you just read.
Hey, while you're looking at that, let me tell you, we got a postcard from New York from Katie
Oh,
McDonald.
yes.
Saying she was on our show 2 weeks ago. She said, "Dear Darrell and Ed, sending love and light from NYC. Thank you for having me as a guest. The best thing you can be is yourself. Keep spreading your love and kindness. The world is a better place because of it. Love, Katie McDonald." Thank you.
Nice.
If you're on YouTube, you can see
Nice.
the postcard.
And there it is.
This is also from 365 Science of Mind. This was from the 16th. No, sorry. The 18th, today.
Oh, today.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
And this is great to wrap up the show with and leading into our
We got some things
closing
to do,
cards.
man. We got thanks. We got
Okay.
thanks.
You ready?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the best advice for your imagining.
Let's
We
hear it.
should daily affirm that new ideas are coming to us, new ways of doing things,
That's great.
that we are meeting new and wonderful friends,
Yes.
new situations, that joyous things are going to happen to us.
Yes.
The creative power is always reacting to us as we act in it. It is always creating in our bodies and in our affairs. Consequently, we should all learn to live in a state of joyous and enthusiastic expectancy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, faith is defined, one of the definitions is joyful expectancy.
I
Wow.
love that.
That's right.
Yep.
This is the principle upon which faith or the answer to prayer is based. Let us then bless everything we do and everyone we meet, knowing that the limitations of the past need not be carried into the future.
Yeah.
Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too much to ask of the power that can do anything.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
Love that.
So true. That's true power.
Do you know
right
there's
there.
Einstein? I looked up imagination and some different quotes for this show.
Yeah.
Einstein said that imagination is far greater than knowledge
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
because knowledge is for a certain
yes.
area, where imagination encircles a whole world.
Yeah.
You know what's
yeah,
funny?
and it orchestrates knowledge.
Yes.
It points knowledge in the right direction.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You guess what else is in my...
Enjoy
Join
that.
up.
Okay, you ready? This is from Einstein, because
Oh.
I just paraphrased this quote last year.
Yep.
But
Last week.
last episode, last week. But it really is about
I spent my last
how
year,
we
yeah.
use our imagination. This is the man who gave us the law of relativity, that everything is relative to your point or your
Right.
position in life,
Yes.
your personal
Yes, yes.
position.
Yes.
Yep.
Everything will be relative, which is the same thing all the mystics have said throughout, what in mind you're going to receive in kind,
Yeah.
all these things. Your attitude, your perspective creates your reality.
Yeah, because he was riding a bike along a river. There was a river boat and someone walking on the deck of the river boat, and the boat speed relative to the bike is different than the guy walking relative
Wow.
to the.
Yeah.
Everything is relative to where you measure.
Measure.
it.
Right.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
that's
he
an
even
aha moment.
He
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
using it in all different experiments.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. We live in our individual universes. So
Yes.
this is
He also believed there was a God constant that
Yes.
that they kind of like shot down.
Yeah.
But he believed there was there's other thing called the God constant.
yes.
And he also said God doesn't throw dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
It's not a chance.
that's
No.
right, that's
It's a plan.
right.
Well, this is the quote I botched last week, and it's even better when you hear it from him. This is what he said. The most important decision we can make as an individual that we can make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe.
Yeah.
He was asking us to examine our core position or attitude, knowing our experience will be relative to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of knowledge, I misquoted someone else. I thought it was Einstein, but it was actually Francis Bacon,
yes.
who said, "A little knowledge of science makes a man an atheist, but an in-depth study of science makes him believe in God."
There you go.
Love it. That's
He
fantastic.
was a metaphysician
Yeah, Francis
100%.
Bacon.
100%.
or a
So look,
mystic. Yeah.
we got a postcard from Kirky. It's Darrell and Ed.
Oh,
He made a
how
picture.
great is
Oh, wait, what?
that?
It says every day is a new chance to F it up. But it doesn't say F. But I'm just gonna, but on the back, it has a quote. And the quote, let's see who it's from.
Probably.
It's from Louise Hay,
Ooh.
your friend. The only thing we are ever dealing with is a thought. And a thought can be changed. The past has no power over us. It doesn't matter how long we have had a negative pattern. The point of power is the present moment. What a wonderful thing to realize.
Fantastic.
Louise Hay, amazing.
Love it.
Now I have someone who wants us all to pray for them. This is
Okay.
a good friend of ours by the name of Catherine Powell. She sent us a nice contribution as well. Thank you, Catherine.
Oh,
She
we
said-
love Catherine Powell.
Yeah, she said, "Dear Darrell and Ed, I can't tell you how much I love listening to your show. I feel like you two are inspiring friends that I get to hang out with every week. It's the absolute best. I wanted to ask for a very special prayer request. I see myself sharing this beautiful life with a wonderful man. Would you please hold that thought in your hearts for me? Signs are everywhere for this being right around the corner.
Yes.
Plus, I have totally surrendered everything to God. And knowing her, I know that's true. I also know you guys are powerful. You as well. I would be honored if you would pray for me. Thank you a million times. I also never thank you for the Unity Village recommendations. Wow, what an experience it was being there. I know you two can understand
Fantastic.
it and can also understand they're really not words to describe it. Magical comes close for me. I feel very lucky to have had the opportunity to go. I thought of you when I was there. Thank you for everything and for what you do in the world. You are two special peeps. Lots and lots of love, Catherine Powell."
Oh,
That's
Catherine, we
great.
see you with that wonderful man. It is
Yes.
done. It
Yeah.
is already done. Because on that level,
Yes.
it already has
Yeah.
manifested. So
Yeah.
we see you tuning into that, and he is right there.
And then
That's what I'm knowing.
I'm knowing it too. Look at this from Grace Deatherage is actually going to be on the show from England via Zoom next week.
Oh,
We
fantastic.
need to get a hold of
From
her
the UK.
from the UK. She says, "Look at this heart. If you're on YouTube, come on, get on there. Check this out. Dear Darrell and Ed, funniest thing crew, thank you. Deep appreciation from here. Thank you for encouraging reminders of all we are and your bright experiences of joy. I love the clear simplicity of remembering I just need to be love. What's here in this moment? Love from here, Grace Deathridge.
There's an X and an O, which
A
means
bunch
a
of
kiss
hugs
and a hug.
kisses.
Nice.
Don't
Nice.
get jealous, ladies.
Yeah. You know what? I wanted to mention this because we met a guitar player, a musician, not a guitar, a singer and a...
Oh, my
and we
God.
met him at the Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living.
Oh.
He lives, though, in Oxnard. We told him
Really?
about Unity of Santa Barbara. I mean, he's an amazing performer.
This guy was the most positive thing about
Right.
our experience
Yeah.
there that Sunday.
Yeah.
He is just, as soon as he was up there, I couldn't help but like giggling because
Wow.
he has the skinny body and
Of the
he,
Beatles.
and he moves. He radiates this Beatle joy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he even
love
knows
this. This
but-
is fantastic.
And he gave the best quote
From Woody Guthrie.
from Woody
Oh,
Guthrie.
really?
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Before he started singing, before he started hit the next solo, like he did the opening song, and I go, I love this guy.
Yeah.
He was making me feel so tickled inside.
Fantastic.
And he's young.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, yeah.
But,
And
then-
Woody-
but before
yeah.
he started his next song,
Yeah.
right before you got there,
Yeah.
he said, I just want to share this quote with you and see if you guess who it's from. And this is what he
He said, I hate a song that makes you think that you are not any good. I hate a song that makes you think you're just born to lose, bound to lose, no good to nobody, no good for nothing, because you are too old or too young or too fat or too slim, too ugly to do this or that. I decided a long time ago that I'd starve to death before I'd sing any songs as that.
That is
I
love
so...
that.
No.
Woody Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie.
And
Unbelievable.
And he goes
That's-
into another positive song. So
Yeah.
we're going to introduce Jesse.
I would like that.
He
I'd
can't
like that.
come this weekend because his girlfriend said you've been he does a lot of Sundays.
Yeah.
So she said this Sunday's mine.
Good. Good
But
for
we're
her.
going to get him up to
Good.
meet you.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love
Everyone
that.
here probably recognizes this.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Schoonover.
Shout out to Schoonover. We love you, man. Thanks for sending us the spiritual paraphernalia. We love you, mate. What else? Oh, there was Jesse said, hi, guys. Jesse here, guitar player guy
This is
from
the guitar
Redondo this
player.
Sunday.
Fantastic.
Playing Be Thankful. Be thankful for what you've got. That's one of our episodes right now. What a jam. Appreciate the good energy on your podcast, especially the idea of cause and effect. He must be happy since he is rich, as opposed to the inverse is a powerful idea, meaning he's rich because he's happy.
Yeah.
So shoot me a line if you guys are headed up to Santa Barbara any Sunday coming up. I may or may not be gigging, but I'd come to check it out for sure. Best Jesse Thyre.
I
we
love
knew
it.
he would love the vibe
Fantastic.
there.
So we'll introduce him.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. You guys are so good at bringing people to church. I love it.
Well,
Thank
it's
you.
only because we love it. It's not
Makes
like
me
we're doing
happy.
this because you're paying us. We actually really enjoy it up there.
That's right. We want to thank Bruce, Bruce Foster.
Oh,
hooked us up with these
yes.
dancing Jesus.
We love those, Bruce.
We love.
Oh, they're fabulous.
If you've never seen Jesus in a conga line, check out YouTube, and you can see
It's
it.
great because he's doing the great dance made famous by the Go-Go's, and believe it or not, Bruce Springsteen did that in a video.
Well, let me just read one thing from the. There's a book. A little book comes
a
with
little
it.
booklet.
It says the Carpenter Clog.
This is one of the many dances
A
Jesus
fun
did.
little routine that's easy to nail. Inspiration. Before Jesus got caught up in the whole Savior thing, he was just a blue-collar stiff making ends meet as a carpenter.
Oh, how cute.
Talk about a multifaceted guy. Not only could the man from Galilee calm the water and raise the dead, he could also crank out a nice-looking end table. Just imagine the King of Kings staining a kitchen chair or standing on a, what does it say? Or sanding a stool. And you've got all the fodder you need to perform these steps. And it says, follow the master. Stand flat-footed, then sidestep with your right foot. Bounce back onto your left foot, lifting the right to the... So he gives you... There's a bunch of different dances. We're going to give these to
Love
Kathy and Nancy to take
Oh,
home.
we're
with them.
so
We're having the
happy.
time
We
to be on
love
the show.
Jesus.
And we expect to see them teaching us these dances at their next sermon at
you
Santa
got it.
Barbara. So please
Sunday
Yeah.
tomorrow.
make the trip.
We'll do it.
I gotta say, our good friend Lois Conklin loved the last episode. She says, well, funniest thing is a great program, best thing on the web. Grace Deathridge also said, Johnny was wonderful to hear, particularly loved what he shared about resurrection. Inspirational.
Yes.
This moment is always new and always divine. Indy, we can't see you right now, but how you doing today, man? Thank you very much.
Oh, what a special presentation this is. I'm elated that everybody's here today. And
Nice.
CHOBO loves you.
Yeah, well, we love CHOBO.
We love
No, we
CHOBO.
love
Yes.
CHOBO.
Go to chobostudios.com to book the space. It is an amazing space. There's multiple spaces. And they also have a wing of CHOBO called PodShuttle.io where they can edit anything that you want to get up onto the web, shorts. Maybe Eunice Santa Barbara wants to look into this because he makes these amazing YouTube shorts. They're a minute long, like or less, and they get a lot of views. Like
I view them.
yeah.
They're great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he does a great job with that. That's podshuttle.io.
Baby, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Quick shout out to Jeff Comfort all the way in Kansas City, Kansas.
He does our audio to all the podcasts.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he puts a few sound effects in. We love
Yeah,
him.
he adds the sound
Perfect.
effects.
Great
Each week
team.
He takes us right into the comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to read this or wrap up the show?
We could wrap it up with this reading.
Okay, it's called Imagination.
This is such a good, like, this issue of the Daily Word.
It's actually
I
got a
don't
lot
know.
of metaphysics in it.
Yeah, that's right. It actually has a lot of metaphysics in it. You'd approve. So this
that's
one
good.
is going to blow your mind. You want to
Good.
go ahead?
All right. My imagination is the key to my creative power. My imagination is a powerful spiritual gift, one that I use mindfully and with intention as I bring my dreams and aspirations to vivid, tangible life. My imagination knows no limitation, isn't stopped by circumstances or made small by my past mistakes or missteps. My imagination is part of my divine identity and is as boundless as God. Understanding this, I believe I have the power to create a life full of opportunity and abundance, overflowing with beauty and wonder. Together with my faith, I cultivate the images and ideas born in my imagination and let them flourish in my consciousness. I then take practical steps in the world that create the circumstances for my dreams to become reality. And from 1 Corinthians 14:15, I will pray with the Spirit, but I will pray with the mind also. I will sing praise with the Spirit, but I will sing praise with the mind also.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Yes.
Anyone want to say anything before we wrap this darn show
All
up?
I can say is that the energy, you pick it up when you're viewing it, but man, being in right here with you two guys in Indy,
Fantastic.
oh, it's fabulous. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We have. I know we've enjoyed this.
Enjoyed it
It's
so
a good
much.
experience for us.
This is better than a spa. You two look better now than you did walking in.
I know, and that's something.
Well, it's that energy.
Yeah,
it's that
I know.
energy.
We've all been spiritually aroused.
That's right.
They say he has risen. It's in the Bible.
So funny.
What can we say?
Nancy, what were you going to say there?
I thought that. What did you say?
Were you going to say something before?
No, I think I'll just leave it right there. Well,
Yeah.
where two or more gathered. We said that when we came together. Where two
Yeah.
or more gathered, there is that energy, and that I feel that.
Me too. I feel great.
Before
Thank
we
you so
read
much.
our little story, because we did find a story about you two. It
Yeah.
was in the archives of
Oh,
Unity.
I'm
It
sure
was
you
one thing
did.
that they threw out that we got out of the dumpster.
We also want to thank you, Nancy, for the gifts. We got a
Yes.
copy of the Mental Equivalent by Emmett Fox. What are these things called here? These
Milagros,
Little they're
miracles.
miracles.
Yeah, so one is an angel, one is a heart in this one.
That
There's
means
also
divine love and divine protection.
divine love and protection. Look at this.
This
a
is-
$1,000 bill.
Plus, and it says, "In God we trust," and I like to
God
say,
we
"In God
trust.
I trust."
Yeah.
Oh, this is just.
and they don't have change for that in most places.
No,
just to let you know.
That's right.
You gotta pay for everyone. It's on the house.
Yeah.
Just lay that down and tell them it's. Kathy, you want to say a quick affirmative prayer for us before we wrap this
Yeah.
show?
All right. Well, let's just take a moment right now as we tune in, tap in, and let's just know that there is a power and a presence that is greater than any circumstance, mightier than any condition. So as we surrender into that power and presence of God, we just allow the orchestration of all good, all serendipity to just be. And we go forth this day to experience the miracles that are in store for us. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so now the story of you two ladies.
So you're gonna
Oh,
read
I
the
thought
voice
we
of
got
Kathy
rid of
in the
those.
story. I think I highlighted it. Okay,
Okay.
I'll read. Sorry, because that way you'll end on.
You're
that.
going to be Nancy.
Okay, I'll be Nancy. A little while back, Nancy was driving Cathy to her friend's house for a play date.
Mommy.
Go ahead.
Well, she's a little girl.
Oh, yeah, little Cathy asked.
How old are you?
Honey, you're not supposed to ask a lady her age, Nancy replied. It's just not polite.
Okay.
Little Cathy said. Then a few moments later, she asked,
How much do you weigh?
Now, really, Nancy said, that's a personal question and really none of your business.
Okay.
Little Cathy said. Then a few moments later, she asked,
Why didn't you go to college?
That's enough questions, young lady, Nancy said. Honestly. Nancy and Cathy arrived at the playdate, and Nancy left the two children alone.
My mom won't tell me anything about her.
Little Cathy said to her friend. Well, said her friend, all you need to do is look at her driver's license. It's like a report card. It has everything on. It's just like a report card. Later that night, little Cathy came to Nancy again.
I know how old you are. You're 32.
Surprised, Nancy asked, how did you find that out?
I also know that you weigh 130 pounds.
Nancy was now shocked. How in heaven's name did you find that out? Then little Cathy said triumphantly,
And I know why you didn't go to college.
Oh, really? Nancy said. Why?
Because you got an F in sex.
Oh, oh my God.
That is so
On the
funny.
internet. We can either, we don't know if it's true, but we found it on
It
the
was
internet.
Unity
Oh,
Archives,
that is
ladies
so
and gentlemen.
funny. That is so funny.
Shall we?
Oh, yeah, we're going to sing this show out with, what's the song?
Shamil.
Mazel.
We're gonna make it.
After
Give us
all,
any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it God's way. Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. God's gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it God's way.
Visit DarrellandEd.com to find easy links to everything.
Cathy
we
and
do.
Nancy Norman, UnitySC.org.
The original Laverne and Shirley. ladies and
UnityJoyLife.org.
Okay, you ready?
On your mark, get set, let's go now. Got a dream and we just know now. God's gonna make our dreams come true. And we'll do it God's way. Yes, God's way. Make all our dreams come true. And we'll do it God's way. Yes, God's way. Make all our dreams come true. For me and you.
Love it.
Praise God.